They told you education is the key. They said, go to school. But why are so many graduates purposeless and jobless? On EduShift, we spot the cracks. We challenge the educational system. Torn between science, arts, and commerce, we bring clarity and answers to your questions, and we light up the path for a generation ready to stand out. Come enjoy discussions with educators, employers, and counselors. Let us fix this problem of career misalignment and help you discover yourself. EduShift, only on Global TV.
Welcome to another episode of EduShift, where we help you shift towards education that aligns with purpose. I am your host, Priscilla Obasi, and remember, we don't just talk about education. No, we interrogate it, we challenge it, and we reimage it for the future we truly deserve. Today's conversation is not just important, it is urgent because it touches the core of Nigeria's development, our future, and the kind of nation we are becoming. Our topic is Bridging the Gap, Connecting Education, Research, and Innovation in Nigeria. Now, let me begin with something that may sound uncomfortable, but very true. Nigeria is one of the most intellectually gifted nations in the world. Yes, we have brilliant students. We have resilient thinkers. We have creative young minds. We have talented problem solvers. And yet, we're not just leading innovation. We are not building enough scalable solutions. We're not exporting ideas enough. So today, we ask, what is going wrong? Now, let me tell you a story. A young woman graduates top of her class in computer science. First class. And you know what that means? She gets the award, she gets the recognition, her family is proud, her community is celebrating. But 2 years later, she is still searching, trying to find her path, still trying to translate everything she learned into something usable. And this is not because she's not brilliant, but because somewhere along the line, education and application never met. And that is the gap we're talking about on today's conversation. Now, there's this illusion of education without impact. And let us start from the foundation. For many Nigerians, education is seen as a pathway out of poverty. It's seen as a ticket to success. It's seen as a guarantee to a better life. And for decades, that belief held true. But today, we're seeing a shift, like a dangerous shift, where education no longer automatically leads to opportunity, where it no longer automatically leads to relevance, innovation, and all of that. We're producing graduates, but not necessarily problem solvers. Therein lies the problem. We are awarding degrees, but we're not building capacity. We're not building the capacity of the students, this graduates. We're celebrating the fact that we have certificates, or we are raising people that have certificates, but not consistently creating the impact we should create. This said people do not have or are unable to make the impact that comes with that certificate. And this is not to dismiss education in any sense. No, it is to question the kind of education we are providing. What kind of education are we truly providing? Because if education does not lead to thinking, if it doesn't lead to solving problems, if it doesn't lead to creating, if it doesn't lead to building, then we must ask, what exactly are we doing? Yes, what exactly is the education doing? Now let's talk about the classroom reality divide, right? Let us bring this closer to home. If we bring this closer to home, imagine a student studying agriculture. I don't know if you know any, but try to imagine one. Now he learns soil types. He He learns crop classification. He learns irrigation theories. But he never steps into a functional farm. He never sees a problem with a crop that is stunted, or he has not seen the reality of that scenario. And let us also imagine a student studying engineering who is able to solve all the equations on paper, who is able to solve all of that but cannot build anything tangible. Or is it a business student who understands case studies but has never run even a small enterprise? So when these students eventually graduate, the world feels unfamiliar. I mean, the real world feels unfamiliar because they were trained in theory without immersion. And here lies one of Nigeria's biggest challenges. The fact that we have mastered instruction, the fact that we have mastered all of it, but we have not mastered application. And without application, knowledge becomes a passive, inactive, dormant tool. How sad. I mean, how sad. Research does not reach reality, and that is also the problem. Let's talk about research, because this is where things become even more concerning, right? Every year, Nigerian universities produce thousands of research work, projects literally abandoned by final year students. Innovative ideas, brilliant insights, solutions to real problems. And I tell you, solutions to real problems, because you're graduating from school and your supervisor is asking you, what is your project topic? And then sometimes they reject and reject and reject until you're able to bring something really sensible to them. And then you go through the rigors of trying to write your projects. This is supposed to be a problem you're solving. Out of everything you have learned, you're actually trying to solve this problem with the theories, with the knowledge you have been impacted with, right? You come up with the best of ideas only for you to find yourself going through the defense, and after defense, external, internal, project just is abandoned in the school library or somewhere in the school. Nobody goes back to it to say, oh, what are we going to do with this idea? It's such a brilliant idea. Can we begin to implement it? You even go maybe further to have your master's and you start again with a different problem instead of going to continue from where you stop, because sometimes that is the case. So where do all of this go? And most times, these things are submitted, they are graded, they are just eventually archived and forgotten. Solutions to Nigeria's problem. I mean, those solutions are sitting quietly on shelves. Why? Because there is a missing link between research and industry. And in many countries, research is not the end. It's supposed to be the beginning, actually. Someone's supposed to follow suit. Someone's supposed to follow it, because from research, you get startups. From research, you're able to get policies. From research, you're able to get innovations. From research, you're able to get economic value. But sadly, in Nigeria, research often ends where it should begin. And this, again, is our sad reality. Now, the structural gaps we must confront. Let's stop being vague. Let's name the gaps clearly. Now, I'll give you an outline of some of these gaps. The first is the curriculum that lags behind reality. The world is evolving rapidly. Technology is advancing. Industries are changing. But many curricula remain static, outdated, and disconnected. And that is, again, another reality. There's also the weak industry, academic collaboration. Universities operate here, right? Industries operate there. Very little intersection, very little collaboration, very little co-creation. I know back in the days, there's something I heard that used to happen. Sometimes, a particular company goes to school and decides to intern someone. Maybe during your IT period, you're able to go to a particular company, go and learn, go and do everything you want to do. Or sometimes some companies actually reach out to schools and train students eventually these students become part of their workforce and are able to put back into their system. This used to be a very interesting and great act, but in today's world I don't think it's really a reality. I know that sometimes during an NYSC some companies go to camps to get someone, but they don't necessarily train them. Some do, some do not, but we need to have a system that really brings an intersection between universities, industries, and academic collaboration, right? We need to have synergy. And then we talk about poor research funding. Now, ideas need support. No matter how brilliant they are, they cannot stand alone. Innovation actually needs investment. Many researchers lack funding. Many researchers lack the tools. They lack institutional backing. So ideas die early because all of this, lacks the financial investment to carry it on to the latter. We also talk about lack of innovation infrastructure, where the innovation hubs, we want to ask, where are the prototyping labs? Where are the startup incubators? Some exist, but not enough, not accessible enough, not integrated enough. And this is also a problem. A culture that prioritizes certificates over competence, and that is still part of the system, part of the problem, if you ask me. Now, if you're honest, we celebrate first class, right, in this part of the world. We celebrate when a child comes out with distinction, when a child graduates with honor, when a student, comes top of their class. But how often do we celebrate someone that is still building? Yes, how often do we celebrate someone that solves a problem? How often do we celebrate someone that creates value? How often do we celebrate something that is built, right? This needs to be a culture. If you really want to we want to create more innovators within our academic systems. Now, the consequence of all of this is a nation of potential, not production. So we have all the potentials in the world, but it doesn't really produce results. When all of these gaps persist, we become a nation that consumes more than it creates, which is our reality currently, right? A nation that imports more than it innovates, a nation that adapts more than it originates, and that has long-term consequences because innovation drives economic growth, innovation drives job creation, it drives global relevance. I don't know when last we spoke about our country being relevant globally. Is it a thing of the past? Is it the culture we need to revive? Yes, of course. When innovation is weak, developments are slow. What a system connected looks like. Let's imagine something better. Let's imagine a Nigeria where education feeds research. Let's imagine a Nigeria where research feeds innovation, because that is the step. Then innovation now feeds the economy. Of course, that in itself is a seamless pipeline. In this system, students will not just graduate, they launch, right? Research will not just end, no. It will evolve. Someone picks it up from where you have stopped and someone continues and like that. And universities will not teach you only, they will also produce solutions. They will make all of this will be possible, right? If we have such a system. Now, what makes it possible is collaboration. What makes it possible is funding. Everything that we have addressed as a problem, also in itself lies solution. So we need intentional policy. We also need practical learning. We also need innovation culture. I am quite optimistic because the moment we're able to get it right in our economy, in our educational sector, it translates into productive results across various sectors of the economy, right? The role the government, institutions, and individuals must play, because it is not a one-sided responsibility. The government must invest in education and research. The government must enable policies, must support innovation ecosystems. And institutions must update their curriculum. The Ministry of Education must update its curriculum. They must encourage practical learning. They must build industry partnerships. Individuals must think beyond certificates. Individuals must pursue skills. We've said it time and again on EduShift. They must build, they must test, they must fail and try again. Yes, these And all of these are the solutions to connecting education, research, and innovation in Nigeria. Now let's go for a quick break where we join the kids on the entertainment segment. When we return, we'll bring the final reflection of this episode. Please don't go anywhere.
It's edutainment time on EduShift.
Hello everyone, my name is Jita Nakobasi, and today on EduShift, I will be creating a cartoon with my Android phone. Now let's go! The first step is to download the app I used to make my cartoon on Play Store. Right after that, I will launch my app and then I begin to create. I'm manning the bedroom. On this animation, I will make Kitty go to school. So, let's bring this box down. So, let's just go first. Kitty will get up from sleep. Oh, it's time to go to school. Let me pick my book and go to school. Pick up book from the shelf. Walk out the door. Keep going. And 0. Her first check it. She was a person go to school after that. Maybe drink a bit too much. 1. This classroom. Perfect. Where teacher? Just 1. I'm trying to make the cat speak to the teacher. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Miss Aichi. Hello, sir. How are you doing? I'm fine. I'm doing fine. Good morning, Miss Aichi. He should be down for now. Where is for school? Oh, it's time to go to school. I'm coming, but can't go to school. Morning, Miss Aichi. Good morning, Lisa. How are you doing? I'm doing fine. Thank you. Have your sweet son. Thank you, Miss Aichi. I hope you enjoyed my animation. Keep watching EduShift. Bye-bye.
Edutainment time on EduShift.
Are you owing PayPay or QPay and you want to pay back installmentally? You will never finish pay.
E7,
E8.
Oh, sorry, E8.
Installmentally? That's not an English word.
Even me myself I shock. Bro, even me myself I shock.
Installmentally is a word created by members of the Borrow Me Urgently Association.
Borrow me 2,000.
You can pay in installment or by installment.
If you hear the word installmentally, just know the money is gone to be with the Lord.
Let me say this to be, mother. As you think, I'm not be like that to be.
Remember, you can pay in installments or by installments, but never installmentally.
Do you want to loan? How will you pay back? By installment or installmentally? Choose wisely.
If I banish, I banish.
Do I look like I watch Coco Melon with you people? My classmates are ancestors. I said a baby dinosaur. She doesn't want to change. She saw me this morning and she said GM. What kind of insult is that? I just learned about abbreviations and they are so cool. Sorry, I have runny nose. Someone has referred to all day in class.
Underline your uppercase letter.
What kind of country is this? Where's the police where you need one?
Why is the world so wicked? Why?
Time is money. Who has time to be spending everything? If you don't have time, at least you have money. But you don't have both. NTTW. HBD. IN. What is that rubbish? A baby dinosaur. Me, baby dinosaur? Where's that girl?
Actually, what are you doing?
Why is the world so wicked?
You have a terrorist in the class. He keeps fighting.
Welcome back. Fantastic and amazing performance there by our kids. They're doing us so proud. Okay, so where did we stop? The future we must build, and that's what we're talking about right now. What is that future you and I want to see? Let me leave you with this. Nigeria is not lacking in brilliance. We are a brilliant people. We are not even lacking in ideas. No. We're not lacking in potential. We have all of that. We're not lacking in all of this. What is actually lacking is alignment. Alignment between what we teach, what we research, what we build. Until we fix this alignment issue, until we fix that, we'll keep asking the same questions. But the moment we are able to bridge the gap, everything changes. The moment you are able to bring solution to this, everything changes. And like I said, it translates in a better economy. It translates in, a Nigeria that truly works, right? So I am tired of seeing graduates that go to through the forwards of the university, polytechnics, the college of education, and comes out to be spoon-fed. And comes out to look for who will solve their problems, and comes out to look for how they can eventually get a job that would give them money. No, the reason why you go through the four walls of the classroom is basically to also solve a problem. So you're coming out of the school with that idea that will transform your world. You're coming out of school with that knowledge that would you would add to whatever it is that already exists to solve a bigger problem, and not waiting for the world to solve your own problem. I mean, we've got our problems, and that is why everybody has to have the idea to solve each other's problem, right? That is what we're talking about. How to go into school, come out, and begin to build innovative systems. Trust me, it is not.
They told you education is the key. They said, go to school. But why are so many graduates purposeless and jobless? On EduShift, we spot the cracks. We challenge the educational system. Torn between science, arts, and commerce, we bring clarity and answers to your questions, and we light up the path for a generation ready to stand out. Come enjoy discussions with educators, employers, and counselors. Let us fix this problem of career misalignment and help you discover yourself. EduShift, only on Global TV.